So about a month ago, it was announced that John Wick Chapter 5 is officially happening, which is still really weird to kind of think about considering Chapter 4 ended so well. It was a perfect ending for John Wick, for the story that they were telling. I thought it was great, no need to go further, but John Wick Chapter 5 is happening, and the director Chad Stahelski had this to say in an interview. The saga of John Wick was pretty wrapped up, so the only way to do 5 is to have a new story that involves John Wick. It's not a continuation with the high table. John dealt with this grief, it's gonna be very different, and everybody's gonna see the trailer and go, holy I gotta see that. So based on those comments, it sounds like the director understands that this movie, John Wick 5, shouldn't be happening because of how well Chapter 4 ended, and if they're gonna do it, there has to be a reason for it. They have to have a great story and really justify why it's being made. He wouldn't come back, Keanu Reeves wouldn't come back if this wasn't a movie that they both believed in. Famous last words, and that's something that I've said before on this channel, and I'm trying to be this optimistic guy, but I have been burned by movies like this so many times in the past, of a movie that ended perfectly, did not need another sequel, didn't need a sequel to begin with, things like that, movies that are just great on their own, and then they come and make another sequel, and I believe in them. I'm like, wait, the creative team's coming back, the original actors are coming back, this thing is gonna be great, why wouldn't it be? I've gotten burned too many times before. In fact, last year I got burned twice, Beetlejuice and Joker Folie à Deux. Now, Beetlejuice wasn't a terrible movie by any means. It was a well-made movie in a general term, but there was no direction with this. My whole thing when that movie was announced and why I believed in it is Tim Burton's coming back after so many years. Michael Keaton's coming back with Winona Ryder. There are returning actors and the creative team that were coming back because I thought they had a story to tell. They didn't care about the money, or else this movie would have been made years ago. Turns out they had no direction with the story, because my biggest critique with Beetlejuice is that it starts off with a storyline and then it ends. And then a new one starts and it ends, and a new one starts and it ends. So by the end of the movie, if someone was to ask me, what's this movie about? I don't even know what to tell them, because there's so many subplots going on that make up the entire movie that there's no actual endpoint that they were trying to reach. And then as far as Joker Folie à Deux, you saw exactly how that turned out. Same thing, Todd Phillips announced it, Joaquin Phoenix is coming back. Man, Joker is as close to a masterpiece as you could possibly get, so they must have a reason to come back. They have a story to tell. Turns out, not really. And it pissed a lot of people off, and it was the biggest flop of last year. So I really don't know what to make of the director's comments on this. Now, I really want John Wick 5 to be the best of the entire franchise. I love this franchise. I'll watch them all day, every day. But the thing is we don't go to see John Wick movies for the story. We go for the action. And if you are saying anything other than that, I might think you're lying, because the action in this is top notch, and that's why we go to watch them. So it's not really the story that we go for, but at the same time, the John Wick series had a very cohesive, pretty interesting storyline, and it's something that you kind of are rooting for John, you know, to get through all this, and you have all these side characters that you kind of grow to like. So the story does matter in a sense, especially when the story that was pretty decent in the first 4 chapters is come to an end, and now you want to start it up again. And it's not even like a reboot, it's not even like Ballerina. And speaking of Ballerina, does John Wick 5's announcement and this movie being made, does that put added pressure on Ballerina? Do you think Ballerina is gonna be any good? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Ballerina has a lot riding on this, okay? I know I'm not the only person to hear about John Wick 5 coming out and being very skeptical on it, right? People might not go see it because of how well Chapter 4 ended, and this is just gonna be a cash grab. They're gonna have that in their head already, right? So John Wick 5 is kind of already having that battle, but now that they're trying to continue the world of John Wick, which they already did that with the Peacock series, but now they have a movie that's trying to continue the story of John Wick, or the world of John Wick, and if that movie isn't good, that's just gonna hurt John Wick 5 down the road. At least that's what I think. But I want John Wick 5 to work. I'm excited, but I'm extremely skeptical, because movies that shouldn't be made because of how well the story was before tend to not, even if they're okay. Beetlejuice, that movie was okay at the most. It doesn't really justify its existence, and in 10 to 15 years, no one's gonna be talking about Beetlejuice. They're still gonna be talking about the original, because the original did it better. So, what do you all think? Are you excited for John Wick 5? Are you skeptical on it? Once again, I want it to work, but I don't know if it will. And make sure you smash that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the John Wick news and all the other movie news that comes out. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.